Welcome all to the weekly outlook. Boone here from EWPRO. Like I mentioned last week, we will be changing the cost of the course at the end of the year. It'll be going up to $1,500. So giving you a fair warning. If you want to get in at the cheaper price, get in before the start of next year. And just going on to Bitcoin to start off with, this is the idea that I put out, and this is basically what I teach in the course, how to identify these reversal structures. You can look at this on TradingView. My latest Bitcoin idea had a nice flag here, bullish divergence flag, and we can see what happened. It shot up. So yeah, getting on to DXY on the daily. If I just get my pen, we got this WX extended wave white. We're looking for this X2 down to the 38.2 or maybe even the 50 fib, and then give the Z up. So nothing's really changed there. Like I've been mentioning, we're only looking for sells. Sorry. On the H4, we sort of lost a bearish divergence here between the two tops. So we can't rule out another one up, but the H1, like I mentioned last week, we're getting all this bearish divergence here. So we're only looking for shorts. We got a trend line break in here, little correction in here for the downside. This is looking a little bit more bullish now, but you can really only sell it still. You can really only buy it above that high. It is giving a little bullish flag here, but it may be just an A, B, C, or some sort of a complex correction in here. If you get a correction in here, look for that sell down to the 38.2 on the daily. AU on the daily. So we're just looking at this last part to keep these videos short. We're looking at an A, B, C in the B wave, and then we get the A, B, C. Technically, this has completed because this wave C has broken the low of wave A, or the ending point of wave A. But I am still expecting a little bit more downside, like I mentioned last week. On the H4, we're looking for this flat. So nothing's really changed since last week. We're looking for this flat. We got a nice, well, we got an impulse up here. This was looking very choppy, and then we're getting this impulse up here. We do have bullish divergence. So we were looking for the buy. Like I said last week, we're looking for the buys, and we got a nice buy set up to buy. Now you're going to have to be a little bit more careful, because as you can see here, we don't have any bearish divergence on the H1, but this is looking rather bearish. So you can look for an A, B, C. You may just get an A, B, C here and then a Z up. If you get, a bullish setup after you get the correction, and you get a bullish setup in here, you can look for that Z up to finish off that B wave, but you'll have to be careful once this top's broken, because it may just come up here, break that top, and then fall over for the larger C down. EU on the daily. Again, we've got that extended wave. Still in this extended wave white. So we got this WX extended wave Y. We'll be looking for that X2 and then a Z down. On the H4, we were only looking for buys. We had that bullish divergence. Had this bullish divergence in here and in here. Got all this bullish divergence. We're only looking for the buy. So if you got the buy, you had a nice little flat in here. It's actually on the M15, this flat, but you had a expanding flat in here for it's actually this is the flat you could have brought after the trend line break. You'd want to be at break even wherever you took this. If you took it up here, well, you're probably out at break even, I dare say. But if we get any sort of correction in here, like an A, B, C, and then a buy setup, look for the buy for another one up, because we can only really buy this. We got the higher high. We're looking for a correction and then another one up. GU on the daily. So like I've mentioned, we got a WX, another extended wave Y, looking for that X2 and then the Z down. We do have that bullish divergence now. So we're only looking for buys. On the H4, we got that WXY. We're looking for that X2 up to the 38.2 or 50 fib, and then we're looking for that Z down to finish off this move. If we get this Z down, it's going to give us a great opportunity to trade a longer term, you know. But in saying that, you know, we definitely wanted to take any bullish setup we get, because this may be the end of the move. This may be the low. So any bullish setup you get, we're looking for that buy. I mean, if it breaks straight through the 38.2 and the 50, well, you keep that trade, you know, you keep half that trade. In here, we got a WXY. So we're looking for a correction in here for an X2, and then at least that Z up. We're trying to get that Z up. If you get a bullish setup for that Z up, look for it. NU on the daily. So just looking, so we're looking for a correction of a similar size over here. We're starting to get a complex correction in here. As you can see, I'm looking for an A, B, C, and then we've got another one down, breaking the low. We're getting all that bullish divergence. So again, we're only looking for buys. I'll just remove that. We're getting across on the MACD in here, on the H4. So really, you've really missed the trades if you're not in these trades already. I mean, this was your first correction. You always want to try and get in on the first correction. So we got a WXY. We're looking for an X2 and then a Z up. You probably have to go down to the lower time frames to trade this now, because they can be flats for more downside. This one has given us that high. So really, if we don't get like a Z up, look for just a larger correction, and then, you know, a buy setup just for like an A, B, C. So we are still very much bullish on most of these pairs, especially when we get these higher highs coming from a low. Excuse me. UY on daily. So again, we've got this extended wave. We've got that WX extended wave Y. We're looking for that X2 and then the Z up. So we're only looking for sells last week. On the H4, we're looking for that like 38.2 retracement. I'll quickly put this on. So we're looking for that retracement down to the 38.2 or the 50 fib for a WXY X2 and then the Z up. Still can't rule this Z up out just yet. We may get a bull hidden in here, you know, and that'll give us more confidence. If we do get a bull hidden in here, you know, give us more confidence to look for the buy. If you want to learn how to trade these bull hidden divergences and all the divergences, by all means, join up and take the course. We got a nice sell on this one. Remove that. But this was your correction in here. We got this like A, B, C, break below there, and you could look for that sell. At this stage, it's still just one wave, so yeah, you'd have to go down to the lower time frames to look for your trade, your sells, and you're really only looking for sells. I mean, at this stage on the H1, we do have, like, this is the low here, and we got a bull hidden. So, you know, if you do get a buy setup, it doesn't mean that you can't take it, but yeah, make sure you get a nice setup before you attempt to take the long, because we are looking for the H4 correction, a larger correction for the H4 down to that 38.2 or the 50 fib, or it may even come lower because it's an extended wave on the daily. So yeah, the Swissy on the daily. So this is pretty much going to plan. You know, we're looking for this larger correction, similar size to that. So we got that WXY. We're looking for that X2 and then a Z up. We're looking for that A, B, C, and then we're looking at A, B. We're getting that C down in here, and then we'll be looking for A, B, C, A, B, C to finish off this X2, and then we may get more upside for the Z. On the H4, it's pretty much going exactly how we're looking at it last week. We're looking for that sell, so any sell setup you got, you know, you'd definitely be in profit. If you've held it at the moment, I have to go down to the H1, see what we're getting. See, you can only sell this again. We're looking for, it's sort of giving a bullish setup in here, you know, but we'll just be looking for a correction in here, and then look for your sell. So you may be sitting on the sideline for a couple of weeks, giving us these corrections, and then looking for the sell. UCAT on the daily. So this has been quite complex because, you know, we're getting a very deep correction in here. I was looking at this as the end of the move, and we go down. Instead, it's giving us some more complex correction in there. We go down to the lower time frames. Once we seen this with the bullish divergence, well, that was over. We knew that we weren't going to go down and break the low. You know, we were taking buy setups. Now you can only, you know, as you can see in here, we're looking for that Z up still. I mean, we were looking for shorts, and you had a little sell set up in here, but we're looking at a WXY, X2, and then a Z up. We have a bull hidden here, so we definitely can't rule out more upside. Again, I can't go into how we trade these hidden divergences, but yeah, it's important to know how to trade these hidden divergences if you're going to trade them. So really, you can only look for the buy until this low here gets broken. If this low here gets broken, well, then you can look for a larger, more downside. But until this gets taken out, this possible bull hidden, it becomes very dangerous. You don't want to be trading against a hidden divergence. On the H1, I mean, again, we're only looking for sells, and you know, we had expanding and running and flags and that to trade. If you're not in them, You have to wait for the correction. Again, this is looking more bullish, so we may get an A, B, C up in here. Draw your trend line. If you get a sell set up, look for a sell. But again, you have to be careful because you know, we do have that possible ball hidden. So you may be tempted to trade that if you knew how to trade ball hidden. I wouldn't be, but I wouldn't be trading it just yet. But yeah. GY on the daily. So this is, I mean, this has taken about 3 weeks in here. We're looking for this, excuse me, an A, B, C. And then we're looking for an A, B, C. Like I said, it took about 3 weeks in here before we got that C up. So, like I said, it just stay out of it because it's not going the way we're looking at the structure. But we've got that C up now, so then we'll be looking for an A, B, C. On the H4, again, you can only really buy this now. There's no divergence, no bearish divergence. And if you're looking here, if we go down to the H1, we'll see it better. We're getting a flat in here. So we're getting an A, B, C. I'm not sure if that broke the top. I don't think it did. So we're just getting a regular flat. This may be a W, X, Y, X2, and it give you a Z down. Ideally, we get a 50 fib retrace and a buy setup, and then we can look for another buy. But again, on that H4, you know, we are, well, on the daily, sorry, you know, we are looking for another wave down in here, you know, for the, like, A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C as a larger correction after we got these 5 up. So we are looking for a larger correction before we get more upside. EG on the daily. If I zoom right out, like I've mentioned, we've got a larger A here. We got A, B, C. This C up here broke above this ending point of this wave here, and then it come down and broke it. So technically this A, B, C and this larger A, B, C is complete. And as you see, we've gone up. You can really only buy this. I mean, we haven't broken this top. Ideally, we do go and break above this top and then, you know, give us a larger correction, and then, you know, we can look for the buy setup. We don't have any bearish divergence. So on the H4, as you can see what I'm looking at from last week. Nothing's really changed. We're in here somewhere. I said, you know, if you get a little correction in here, like an A, B, C, you know, you could look for the buy up to the 200 fib. Well, it did get up to that 200 fib, and we're getting a bounce off that. So really, we want to see that retracement. We want to see this retracement back to the 38.2. Some sort of a correction in here, and then we can look for that Z up. But until that really happens, you know, you really want to be careful, because we've got a large move up to the 200 fib already. Now this may be some sort of an A, B, C in here. Then you get that A, B, C as some sort of a expanding flat or running flat. We're looking for a correction of similar size to this. So I'm looking at this in here as internal, and this is the, well, possible top. I mean, this may, on the lower time frames, may give you more upside, and we'll have a look at that. So it is still looking rather bullish, you know. we do have bearish divergence, so it becomes dangerous to buy. You know, we got that bearish divergence. This is still looking rather bullish. As there's no impulses down. You know, we can look at that as an A. Well, I'd be looking at it as, if I just zoom out a little bit, I'll be looking at this as like an A, B, C, and then an A, B, C, just from looking at price action, and then we may get more upside. It's not looking impulsive, and this is quite choppy, this wave in here. Looking at gold on the daily. Sort of lost my count, but it's there. So we're just looking at this last bit in here to save, you know, keep these videos as short as possible. So there was a few scenarios here, like I mentioned. We can get an A running flat, this go and break the low, and then give us like an A, B, C, or we get a regular flat A, B, C. But like I said last week, you know, we're only looking for buys. Did we have that bullish divergence? No, we didn't have the bullish divergence. So we still may get another one down in here. It's not really something I'd trade, but we can see that this is looking rather choppy. So we can sort of, this may even become more complex as a larger correction in here. And we get something like an A, B, C, and then we get an A, B, C for a larger correction. And then if you get the sell set up in here, you can look for a sell. But other than that, you'd be waiting for a wave down in here on the lower time frames. So if we just go down to the H1, so we got these three waves breaking the top, but this is looking impulsive. They're all looking rather impulsive. It's only here that we're starting to get a correction in here. So this can become quite complex. Yeah, I mean, we could look at it as a, well, we have to look at it as A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C, and then we get a larger A, B, C before we get a larger A, B, C. The problem here is we got an impulse up and we got such a deep correction here. So we can only look at it as corrective. You know, we're looking for some sort of a flat because we've got such a deep correction in here. So it may become quite complex, this. WTI on the daily. We're looking at that like WXY. We don't have any bullish divergence, but we're getting down, you know, we have breached this 100 pip here, and it may come down to the 161.8. We can't rule out more downside, but at these lows, like we got that A, B, C in here, and then we're looking for that larger A, B, C. We're getting all this bullish divergence, so you're really only looking for the buys. We had that A, B, C in here. No, there's a little flat in here I took, you know, for the buy. We are getting a possible bear hidden here. So to buy up here, you need a nice setup to buy. You know, you got to watch price action in here. If it gives a very choppy movement in here, well, then you can look for the buy. But other than that, you know, if it gives you a sell setup, you can also sell because, you know, we have a possible bear hidden here. So, you know, this can go and break that low. Looking at Bitcoin, like I showed, we had that bullish setup in here on the H1. if you're not in that, you have to wait for a larger correction. Basically, you know, you're going to have to wait for something a lot larger. We got that high, so you can only look for buys. You know, if we go to the H4, you can see what I'm looking for. We got that Z down. We didn't have any bullish divergence, so I was just looking for a correction for more downside. We got that more downside, and it's become more of a correction. So now what I'm looking at is, like I said last week, we can either look at that as a leading diagonal or corrective. Either way, we're looking for a larger A, B, and a C. This is 100 fib. That would be the first target, and if you're lucky enough, and it becomes sort of motive, your second target's at 161.8. S&P 500 on the daily. So we're looking at that like WXY, X2, and we get that Z down. It didn't go and break this low, so we have to look at it. I was looking for more downside. Then we looked at the H4, and there is that possible bull hidden, like I've mentioned. You know, we got that possible bull hidden, so we definitely can't rule out this Z up to finish off this correction before we get that Z down on the daily. And as you can see, this has become quite sharp. If I go down to the H1, again, there was a setup in this as well. They were quite tricky setups. But if you're in this, you know, I'd keep it. Well, I'm on it and I'm keeping it. It may give us a larger correction in here. And then we'll be looking for another buy. You know, I mean, you'd be taking half off if you got into this like little correction in here. Wherever you got in, you know, you take half off here, and then you wait for that correction, larger correction, and then you look to add. If it comes down, takes you out at break even, well, that's fine for your second half. And then if you get the buy set up, well, you look for that buy again. AU 200 on the daily. So we've got that WXY. We didn't have this bear hidden in here. So it becomes more difficult to trade, like I've mentioned. If we go down to the H4, this was the same. We can get that possible Z up. And it looks like we are getting that, you know, that possible Z up. I mean, your targets are, if I just draw the targets. So we're looking at 161.8 and the 123.6 as your targets for the Z. If we go down to the H1, you can only buy this. You know, we had that bullish divergence last week. So I said, you know, any buy setup you get, you know, look for the buy. And you have one in here if you're looking for it. If you trade this pair, now you really need to wait for correction and then buy. I mean, you can trade flags. I'd be going down to the lower time frames if you're trading these flags. You know, if you get any flags or whatever, I'll be going down to the lower time frames looking for a setup to buy. But yeah, ideally, and the safest way is to wait for a correction. You know, ideally back to the 50 fib, and then get your buy set up and look for that buy for at least an A, B, C, and hopefully goes up for that wave Z. You know, your ideal target, the ultimate target is at 161.8. Looking at the DAX on the daily. So this has become quite complex. Like I've mentioned, we got that like WXY, A, like I mentioned last week, we get an A, B, C in here, and this can be complete because this wave in here went above and then broke down. So I should move this to the end of the B wave, because like I said last week, this can be a flat in here, and that was the way I was looking at it. Then we get that like an A, B, C. Then we get an A, B, C. This is finishing off the move, so then we get that larger A, B, C up to that 100 pip. So again, this one isn't looking that bullish on the H4 like the other pairs. It's more choppy on the H4. Are we getting a bear hidden here? Yeah, this one's a little bit more choppy. Yeah, I'd be staying out of this. Like, it is giving a bullish flag there, you know. If you are looking for the buys, just keep your stops very tight, because this is the low here by the look of it. And this is like an A, you know, this is your correction here. It was a large correction. I mean, we're not getting any bearish divergence, so you can look to buy that flag, but just keep your stops really tight, because this is looking, you know, it's rather choppy, and we've got a really large correction in here. But you definitely could look for this buy, you know. If you trade this, you definitely could look for more upside for sure, like just for even if you get an A, B, C, but it may turn into an WXY or motive. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you know, if you take this, you know, you want to be watching this 161.8 area. Looking at the FTSE on the daily, like I've been mentioning, you know, this is so choppy, and this can be so many different structures. It's just unbelievable, you know. Like, you know, look at it like this: A, B, C, then you get an A, B, C, or it could be, you know, it's so choppy. I mean, it's definitely whatever's happening in here is bullish. Ideally, it goes and breaks the top, and then we get an A, B, C. And then you can look for that A, B, C as a running or expanding flat after we've got this wave Z. Get that larger correction, and then, you know, if you get the buy set up down here, well, then you can look for that. And again, you know, if you get the breaks this top, well, then we can start to look for a sell setup for that, you know. Yeah, it's quite. On the H4, we got cross up. Really nothing on the, you know. Again, this is, I mean, we don't have any bearish divergence, and you are getting a little bullish setup in here. Yeah, if you take it, just take, you know, keep your stops tight, because, you know, I mean, this was an ugly looking correction, because we got an A, B, and C in here, you know, for an expanding flat. Very deep correction, you know. So, you know, you're getting a WXY. Look, and then you get another large correction, and then a Z up. Yeah, nothing to say. This, you know, you be looking. You can only really buy it because you don't have any bearish divergence. I hope you enjoyed the weekly outlook. If you did, please hit the like button, share, and subscribe. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you out there next week.